I'm going to teach you how I replace the PFA liner at the bottom of my resin tray for my Saturn IV Ultra. I'm still new to 3D printing, so I've only had to replace the liner one other time when I got a hole in it and it leaked resin on the LCD screen. There's going to be a link in the description for the channel I learned how to do this. I just got another hole in it the other night, so it's time to replace the film. You're going to need the replacement films, the Allen wrenches that came in the toolkit, and some alcohol and paper towels for cleanup. I use the largest Allen wrench to take off the 4 bolts in the corner. I use the next size Allen wrench to remove the bolts that hold the PFA liner frame onto the resin tray. Then I remove that frame and use a paper towel with some alcohol to clean up the resin. I use the next smallest Allen wrench to remove the bolts that hold the 2 pieces of the frame together. Then I peel apart the 2 pieces of the frame and discard the old PFA liner. Then I clean off any old resin off of the frame. Next, I take the side of the frame with the large beveled hole and place that face down on the table. The other half of the frame with the 2 beveled holes I set off to the side for now. Then you want to get out your new PFA liner, peel off both of the pieces of film that cover it to protect it, and place it down on the half of the frame. Then you take the other half of the frame and sandwich the PFA film between them. Then you want to use some kind of tool to punch a hole through the film. I then punch a hole through the film on 2 of the corners. I then screw in 1 screw at each of the 2 corners to hold the PFA film in place. With the film now locked in place, I can go ahead and punch all the other holes in for this side of the frame. I then go ahead and screw in all the bolts. Again, snug but not tight. I then learned that you're supposed to tighten down each bolt in a zigzag pattern. This is a little confusing to me and kind of all over the place, but the idea is to think of it like a drum skin, that you're bringing tension to it overall rather than one bolt after another all the way around in a sequence. So to keep it simple, I just alternated side to side until the bolts were snug. And then I went around for one last tightening. The next thing I did was take an X-Acto blade and trimmed off the flashing of film that was around the frame. Then I took that little tool that I use for punching holes and punch holes through the film for the other bolts. Then I take the resin tray, put it face down, and turn the frame over to line up the holes with the tray. Then I screwed in the bolts to attach the frame to the tray. Again, I'm alternating bolts and making them snug but not fully tight yet. Then I went around and tightened up the bolts, and you could really start to feel the tension on that film as it became like a drum.
Hear that? Nice.
I tightened it down a little bit more, and then I screwed in each of the 4 corner bolts.
That is nice. And that is done.
One last thing that I highly recommend is that you get screen protectors to put over the LCD screen, because when that hole gets in the PFA film and you leak resin through there, it makes it so much easier to clean up your screen. The Saturn IV Ultra keeps track of how many layers were used for the film. I've noticed at about 20,000 layers, that's when I get the hole in the film. Once you change the film, you click the little refresh button, and now you get a new layer count. Now with a nice new fresh PFA film, I'm ready to do some 3D printing. Hope this helped you guys out. If it did, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.